So today we have got a massive head-to-head test for you, and that is the Taylormade P790 going up against the Mizuno Pro 225. What a head-to-head. I cannot wait to see these numbers. Honestly, I don't think I've ever hit the ball this well in my life. Go in the hole. Go in the hole. Oh! Oh my. Oh my. Wow. I'm sure that must have pitched in the hole. Surely. Like that must have pitched in the hole. So a warm welcome back to Elite Performance Golf Studios, where we do massive head-to-head tests for your information, your knowledge and your entertainment. So please make sure you subscribe if you want to stay tuned for all of our coming content, which there will be a lot. And today we have got a huge head-to-head test, and that is the Taylormade P790 against the Mizuno Pro 225 irons. Two kings of your kind of players distance category, a very similar loft, very similar head design. I cannot wait to see what this test is going to uncover. As always, it's going to be super in depth. We're going to be touching on looks, sound, feel, performance and price to kind of wrap it all up, sum it all up to see which of these two irons is going to be king. And as always, we're going to be using the exact same shaft, which for this test is going to be the Dynamic Gold X7, playing standard length. We're obviously going to be swapping it out, putting the same shaft in both heads. The heads are going to be playing standard loft, standard lie, which for the P790 obviously is 30.5 degrees of loft, and for the 225 is 30 degrees in loft, so very marginally stronger in loft, the 225. But apart from that, same shaft, same ball, same time. Whew, this is going to be interesting. Right, so let's dive straight into it. And first up, we're going to touch on the looks category for this review. And first of all, from kind of looking square on, face on from the back, I don't even know what that's called, but just looking at the club. It's pretty cut and dry for me, in all honesty. And I think a lot of people would probably agree that the Mizuno 225, being that really clean chrome, like etched out kind of Mizuno logo, Mizuno Pro logo, looks really clean, sleek, very blade-like. Love it. Like quite an easy win from this angle for the Mizuno 225 for me, compared to, again, the 790 being that kind of satin finish with the chrome bar running through it, kind of a few kind of chunks here and there, kind of out of it, well, not even chunks, but undercut. I don't know, it looks a bit less clean to me from this angle. So that's a clear win for the 225. Now let's look at looking down at it in the top line. So down by the ball looks, for me, it's pretty easy, to be honest with you, similar to the back and just the overall look. I mean, down by the ball, the Mizuno 225, the top line looks a little bit slimmer. And again, with the P790 having the satin heel and toe, especially in this environment, it really stands out more and makes it look like a bigger head. The Mizuno 225 looks like a smaller head, even though actually looking down at it and getting them really close, the hitting zone and even heel to toe really looks basically identical. To be honest, it looks like there's no difference when you separate them a little bit. The P790, because of that satin finish, makes it look like a bigger head, definitely looks like a bigger top line. And again, similar to what I said in the Forge Tech versus P790 video, the 790 is more like ovaled and curved at the top, whereas the 225 is just almost a little bit squared off, which I like. So yeah, top line of the 225 is a little bit smaller. The toe stands out a little bit less. It just looks like a little bit more of a compact head. So yeah, down by the ball, definite win for the 225. So yeah, from this angle, 225, looking down at it, the shape, the top line, how it looks behind the ball, 225. So for me, looks wise, it's a very comfortable win for the 225. So now we're going to touch on sound and feel, and I'm going to clump these into one category because I think they are very linked. I remember I've hit the P790 obviously quite a few times. I remember again in the 790 verse 2022 Forge Tech video, it's definitely a little bit firmer, a little bit louder, a little bit clickier, generally speaking for me. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a good shot, very good shot. Take that every day of the week. But yeah, it's just got that little bit of a higher pitch sound to it. Hit one more with the 790 for you. Again, it's going to be hard for you guys to hear, so it's more subjectively my feedback, say, based on feel and sound. Good shot again. Go. Tiny bit thin, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know, let's flick over to the 225 and see what we think comparatively. So obviously we're using the exact same shaft for this test. Always important to use the same shaft to make sure the results are fair and kept fair and accurate. Again, it's a bit irrelevant now, to be honest, because I'm only doing sound and feel. None of these shots are going to go towards the performance test whatsoever. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a nicer looking shape behind the ball to me. It does look a little bit smaller, even though I don't actually think it is, but it looks a little bit more squat. That's a shot. Go in the hole. No, go on. Oh my. Oh my, I wish I was screen recording that one. Yeah, actually, like not massive difference feel-wise straight off the bat, I wouldn't say. Maybe a little bit more muted and a little bit duller, I guess. That's another great strike. I love this club. Two great swings. Look at that. That's too long. That's gone absolutely miles. Wow. So flown 197. Yes, these are 7 irons, but again, stronger lofted 7 irons, 30 degrees. It's marginal, to be honest, but the 225 to me sounds a little bit more muted, and therefore, again, we always say sound and feel is quite heavily linked, which is why I'm kind of clumping them together in this. The 225 for me, I would have to say, feels a little bit softer, like a little less clicky off the face and a little bit more muted, which again are going to be very linked. But in terms of that sound and feel, with this being a little duller and a little softer, I personally prefer that. So again, subjective, but I would give the win to the 225. Right, so jumping into the performance part of this test. So comment below, let me know, who do you think is going to win this part of the test, the performance part, obviously. The heads, again, I'm not really touching on tech whatsoever because I prefer to give you my opinion on what it does based on performance, miss hits, ball speed retention, spin retention, all that kind of stuff, which I will be commenting on and taking into account, where that came from, taking into account when I make my decision at the end. So I'm going to hit 20 shots with each, not delete any, and I'm going to show you, again, I'm not going to show you all 20, I'll show you 3 or 4 probably of each, and then we will dive into the in-depth numbers at the end, and I'll be commenting on, like I said, kind of forgiveness and all that as we go through. Right, see if I can follow those 2 a minute ago, they were unreal. And you can, wow. This works, this combo. What a shot, gas 3 in a row. Taking that any day of the week on this par 3, which is, this par 3 is 100 and, I think it's 195. 195 to the pin. You hitting over a lake. There's basically just a massive lake all the way down the right side and just to the right of the green. What a shot that is. I mean, yeah, this 225 does look really, it looks really nice behind the ball, to be honest with you. There's no way, again, with it being the slightly bigger, more forgiving head of the range out of the 221, 223, 225, the kind of forged body, hollow head construction. It's supposed to be bigger, chunkier, but it really looks absolutely great behind the ball, honestly. Like, I would have no problems playing that whatsoever, apart from the fact it kind of goes 200 when you hit a good one, which I think for me is maybe a little too far, but looks absolutely phenomenal, to be honest. It's maybe a little pushy. Go! Go! Carry that lake. easily carried it. This thing is just a monster. Stay up, stay up. Yeah. Yeah, a decent strike. Just leaked a little bit, so maybe launch and spin popped up a touch, but again, not a bad strike at all. So 192 carry, 134 efficiency. Yeah, I mean, not going to grumble at those numbers at all. I'm just hitting this so well. Like, so well. Dynamic Gold X7 going in the bag. And actually, generally, I don't respond all that well to heavy, stiff kind of profile shafts. I generally respond a bit better to something lighter and softer, but this X7 being the beast in the kind of dynamic gold range feels really good. Like, it doesn't feel unbelievably stiff. It actually feels really nice. Honestly, I don't think I've ever hit the ball this well in my life. Go in the hole. Go in the hole. Oh! Oh my. Oh my. Wow. I'm sure that must have pitched in the hole. Surely. Like, that must have pitched in the hole. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's like 3 out of 4 have been within, what, 5 feet of the pin? One, literally 195, nearly flew in the hole. What? So actually, that's been what? 4, the 2 previous that I hit in the sound and feel test, it was just the 2 shots, which were both unreal. So that's 6 in a row, really. Actually, to be fair, one of them did leak a little right, didn't it? Which wasn't great, but still not terrible. I mean, this thing is just absolutely loving this, to be fair. That's leaky. Oh, I had to jinx it, didn't I? I had to jinx it. Again, the strike was still actually really good. Sploosh. Yeah, still like 190 carry. Just getting a little bit too inside. So yeah, 5 into out and just left the face a fraction open. Yeah, still great strike. Actually, like nothing to do with the club that I just leaked it. So let's add in a little bit of workability quickly, shall we, actually? Let's see, because the whole workability thing's, in my opinion, it's a bit of a myth. Like, everyone goes, I want to play a smaller head because it's more workable. Like, in theory, yes, because of where some of the weight and mass is positioned, like less heel side in something like this, maybe more spread out across the face, so therefore the control of the toe section can sometimes be maybe a little harder. But in my honest opinion, it's a lot more, again, just due to more marketing, if I'm brutally honest with you. Right, so I'm going to try and hit a draw. That was really bad. Go! Testing out forgiveness, though. That was not a good strike. Like, look at where that was struck. Low, low, low heel. Like, low heel. It did draw, to be fair. What did it have? 226 revs of left spin on it. So it started right and it did draw. And I struck that horrendously. What did that carry? 186 compared to a really good one at 195. So I get 9 yards drop off. And that was a bad, bad strike. Right, it's 2.0 draw. There we go. That was a better strike. 200 carry, okay. But again, there's like, to me, there is no hardship whatsoever working this club. Like, workability is just skill level. Like, can you control your path, and therefore can you control your face relationship to your path? So there we're 7 inside, face to target, 4 open, so 3 close to path. You're going to see a draw. That's quite a good relationship, actually, for a nice draw. It's maybe a little bit extreme. Maybe don't want 7 into out, but and then the opposite. Can we fade it? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So again, nice relationship for a fade. Path 3.5 out to in, face 2 path, 1.5 open. So generally face about half of what the path is. So if we were 4 out to in, have the face 2 open to that path to create a nice little fade. So starting just left, fade in. Wouldn't mind the face had been a little bit more open, like maybe half a degree more open. Would have got it just fading back onto target that little bit more. But again, workable, yes. Forgiving, we saw on that other strike, yes. We dropped, what, 8, 9 yards on a horrific strike. Performance out in the middle, unreal. Performance on miss hits, unreal. Workable, check, check, check. Right, so that's 20 hit with the 225. So you can see, I'm not sure if you can see or not actually, shot. We're on shot 21 up there, top right of the image. And again, even that last one, right? It probably would have gone in if it rolled like another 2 feet. There's probably 3 or 4 of them that nearly went in the hole. That thing is just unreal. Like, I don't know if it's even possible to beat that. Like, it was just so good for me. P790. It's got a big job, very big job. Right. Head's loose. Didn't tighten the head up properly. That's done very well considering. Jump! Again, that was a miss hit. It was off the bottom. Considering the head's a little loose, see that? Didn't tighten the head up properly because I'm rushing around. Still pretty good. Right, we now tightened the head up, which generally tends to help a little bit, to be honest. That didn't feel like the best swing in all fairness. It felt like I got a little bit that way and probably why I thinned that one, but that was striped. There we go. Wow, that's gone high. And a long way. Wow. That was a great shot though. There we go. 141 efficiency. I mean, it's just rocket launchers, aren't they, these things? 196 carry. Woo! Definitely is now a little bit firmer and a little bit clickier, a little bit higher pitch, I'd say, than the 225. And again, obviously, we've got the same shaft, same ball. Nothing's changed except from the head, which is what we want. Scientific as always. Again, I was a little bit heely, I want to say. Still 194 carry. Like, what? What? Yeah, a little bit necky. Efficiency hasn't really dropped. 2 yards offline at 194 carry. Yeah, could be water. Yeah. It's a great strike again, though. Again, on most holes, like, you probably wouldn't be that upset with that shot. Again, similar strike, decent, quite good efficiency, still 188 carry, although it was a little bit of a high leaker. I mean, it's still, like, performance-wise, it's still done very well. Felt pretty good. Okay, maybe a little bit low, I want to say, on that one. Again, 190 carry. Definitely a little bit of a slope, isn't it, there, that kind of drops back towards the front of the green. Again, efficiency good, ball speed's pretty good. Yes, not much to grumble about, right? Workability, again, come back to my previous statement. I mean, one of the reasons, again, why blades, I guess, would be considered more workable technically. I mean, some of the blades, there are tech sometimes, but it's less so than like a club like this, where the weight may be more spread around the sole of the club. They have tungsten weights in the toe and things like that to kind of help create more stability, right? And in theory, if the mass is more evenly spread or the toe's heavier, then it's harder to work. Whereas possibly with the mass of, say, a blade being more heel side because of the hosel and no extra weight down the toe side, it makes the toe lighter. So therefore, in theory, almost more draw bias, what we would assume to be true in a driver, you know, if we moved the weight into the heel, would make it more draw bias. But actually, it makes it more workable because the toe is lighter. So therefore, for a skilled golfer, it's easier to either turn it quicker or hold it off because it's lighter. That would be the theory behind it anyway, right? But again, as long as you're a skillful golfer, I think any club is workable, like any club. Here's the draw. Good draw that too. Yep, beautiful. Again, like, I'm not saying I'm Tiger Woods, I definitely ain't. See me out on a golf course, I'll probably be shooting about 94. But we've got the path inside and we've got the face close to the path. Here we go, we see a draw. Let's see if we can hit a fade. This is always my nemesis because my right hand always wants to hoikey a little bit. So I really have to feel like I'm there to actually get the face open. Oh, cut back. Oh, it's pretty much dead straight. I think it is cutting a little bit actually. Again, it's a really good strike. Yeah, it's pretty square. Did it have right spins? 64 right spins. We're taking that as a fade. We're taking it as a fade. 64, that counts. I mean, it's workable, right? I mean, it is if you want it to be, or if you're skilled enough for it to be, I guess. If I really now try and feel like I leave the club more behind me, i.e. retain this wrist angle here, and try and hold the face a little bit more, we should maybe see the water. Oh, pretty similar. That's fading a little more. Yeah, that's a nice shot, that. Take that. Again, fade. Nice. Yeah, face slightly open to the par. I had 419 right spins on it, so I'm definitely taking that as a fade. It started left, so. But yeah, workable, yes. Performance out the middle, again, we're going to look at the end, well, overall performance. Forgiveness, again, I think one off the bottom, which did unbelievably well. I'm sure I'll try and get one more, it's a bit ropey and show you. That was toey. Be interesting to see what that one does. It could go in the hole. Good left. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to look that bad on there. Yeah, I mean, it felt pretty toey, to be honest. Like, it felt toey. These, like, I've done loads of testing with the 790, to be honest, and the forgiveness of it is 9 out of 10. Like, honestly, on miss hits, for me, it's so good. It's probably going to be hard to pick these two apart in terms of that, really, but let's jump into the numbers and see who we think has won. Right, performance numbers, and that was 40 shots, 20 with each club, and 0 deleted, like not one. And to be fair, I think it was a fair representation. I mean, I got a couple of miss-hits with both, a lot of really good ones with both, so I think good representation. So top we've got 225, bottom we've got 790. Ball speed, nothing to pip them apart, which we would obviously expect. 225 was slightly more consistent on ball speed, but in terms of output, nothing in them. Launch, I did see, like, I was surprised when this flicked up at 16.5, 17.8. I think I said in one of the first couple of shots with the 790, I was like, wow, that went high. Felt like it launched. And I feel like consistently, I did see a little bit more launch out of the P790, which is great. So someone struggles to get the ball up in the air or wants to get it up a little bit more, 790 could be great. But it was a little bit lower spin as well. So a little bit higher launch, a little bit lower spin, which typically equates to a little bit more distance, which is what we saw on average. We saw a carry of 193 compared to a carry of 191. So a little bit higher launch, lower spin with the 790. By, was it 300 revs of backspin-ish and just over a degree of launch, which, you know, if you're really, like I say, if you're trying to get it up, that can be significant in terms of like balls. We could use something that launches and spins a little bit more. I found like a Titleist Tour Soft, something like that actually launches really well and spins very well for a soft ball. So again, it all depends on the person, right? I don't want to do that because I hit it miles in the air. So yeah, spin 300 in it. And actually in terms of spin consistency, almost a dead heat really. I mean, the 790 edged it by 30 revs, which again, fair play, I was very surprised at because I hit the 225 better. Like, no question, I was more consistent with the 225. The dispersion was better. I think we can see that I lost a couple more left with the P790, but the 225 was really good. Actually, on that, there's not much in it. I say I just pulled a couple with the 790. But that is very, very impressive in terms of the spin retention there of the 790. But again, there's not much to pip them apart there, in all honesty. And like I said, with the carry, we were more consistent with the 225, which I felt. Do I feel that's the club? Probably not. I think that was more me, but it's more me reacting to the club, which is basically custom fitting. And it was just so easy for me to hit. Struggled a little more with the 790. Don't know why, just turned it over a bit easier. Like something to do with internal mass possibly, don't know. A little bit more consistent on carry there. So yeah, I mean, ball speed, nothing in it, didn't expect anything less. But yeah, definitely a little bit more launch and a little bit lower spin out of the 790. Right, we'll flick over into the club data quickly, have a little look at that, and that is interesting straight away. And I did feel that, I did notice that as I was going through that, I was swinging the 790 slower, which I think is confidence. Like I was enjoying hitting that 225 so much. Again, like I just swung it faster. So I think that is confidence. But impressively, we saw more efficiency out of the 790, which to be fair, I did turn over slightly more on average. So that could have something to do with it. But for less swing speed, we saw the same ball speed. So that's very impressive from the 790, I must say. Standard deviation is pretty tight. Dynamic loft, 0.7 of a degree in it. Actually, I delivered slightly more with the 790, even though it's, yeah, it is slightly higher in loft, getting muddled up there. So again, the P790 being 30.5 and the 225 being 30. So there's half a degree difference there. And we saw 0.7 of a degree different at delivery. So that's very good. Happy with that. Dynamic lie is pretty much the same, which is great. Face, yeah, like so. Path, slightly inside with both, slightly more inside with the 225. We actually saw the face on average being more open with the 225, which is why we probably saw a couple leak a bit higher right, which is really interesting when we look at the average launch as well. Sometimes these numbers don't really tally up, do they? But we saw the face on average being a bit open compared to the 790 being a bit more square, hence why I kind of hit a couple a little bit more left, and the attack angle pretty similar there. So the one shock thing there on that page is obviously the swing speed and the efficiency. The fact that I could swing the 225 a bit quicker, 97, but the efficiency of the 790 kept up with it even with slower swing speeds. That's pretty impressive. Right, so the last category being price, and then we're just going to sum it all up and go through all the categories. So price-wise, if you were talking stock grip, stock shaft, a set of 7 clubs, so 40 pitching wedge, P790s, 1,099, the Mizuno 225s, 1,299. So £200 extra for a 7 club set in the Mizuno. So that is an obvious clear win for the P790s. Mizuno have obviously got a fantastic rep, creating some of the best irons out there, look, sound, feel, performance, all that kind of jazz. So you pay a premium for that kind of, that brand and that quality that comes alongside that. I don't necessarily think the Taylormade's a much poorer quality, but again, pay for the brand sometimes, right? So clear win for the P790s in terms of the price aspect. So let's sum up then. So we looked at looks, which was a clear win for the 225. Sound and feel, not so much of a clear win, but still a win for the 225 for me. Performance, I mean, and this is going to be for me, again, for you, it could be completely different. So, I mean, the P790 was more efficient. I mean, I like the launch conditions more of the 225, being a little lower launch, a little more spin. I like that. Created a little bit of a lower peak height for me, which again, I like because I hit everything sky high. So for me, I would have to edge it to the 225, but realistically, they're very close. And for someone else, that could quite comfortably flip around. They both are phenomenal. Even forgiveness, I can't really edge it. They're both so good on miss hits, like so good. But if you had to ask me, I gelled better with the 225. I hit it more consistently. I like the launch window, spin conditions slightly better. So again, I'm going to edge that to the 225, and then price P790. So to be honest, for me, the only category that the P790 won on is price, look, sound, feel, performance. We're going all 225. And again, a lot of that's going to be subjective. Look, sound, feel is going to be subjective. And the performance is going to be very much based on what is better for you and your delivery, depending on what we're trying to achieve from your ball flight. But yeah, for me, I mean, if you ask me tomorrow, what set are you taking out? It's going to be the 225s. So there you go, another super in-depth review. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Please do subscribe really trying to get that subscriber count up and put a lot of effort into the content. So I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Please stay tuned. Let me know what you thought below. Let me know what you want to see. I'm always open to doing whatever you want. I love it. That's why I do this. And I will see you in the next one.